In this video, we are going to build an ultimate agent with n8n. The agent can do almost anything, can reply to Gmail, check availability in Google Calendar, and also you can upload your document and get instant answer. Add dinner at 10 p.m. tomorrow. And now as you can see, since tomorrow is 6 November, if I click here, you will see dinner at 9 p.m. Next, we are going to check the last email and we will ask you to respond to it. Hey, check the last email and respond to it. Thank you. And we just wait for it. The email is from this one. How is everything? The body is how are you? And as you can see, it's actually from the same email. I want you to say I'm fine and I would love to collaborate with you. So now it will respond to the person. All right, let's see. I have replied to the last email, and if we check, let me just refresh this, and here you should see my email. I'm fine, I would love to collaborate with you. Another things that our agent can do is retrieve from a document. So I will upload a document, okay, and I will select so this is my CV, okay, and you will see this is my CV that I have uploaded, and I will ask you about certification. And here we got your document added with success, which means the document has been saved in the database there. So let's ask you a question. Okay, can you list all the certification that the person has? And we wait for it. And here we should see here are the certification that Manhadoush has. And if we compare it, you will see that they are the same. So we have applied AI Lab Deep Learning for Computer Vision, called Soft Machine Learning Intern, CS50 Introduction to Artificial Intelligence, Neural Network, PyTorch for Deep Learning, and here are the links. The first things you want to do is we want to create a bot. So go to bot father and click and write down slash new bot, and here it will ask you name of the bot. Let's call it Ultimate AI Agent. Now let's choose a username. Let's call it YouTube Ultimate Agent n8n. All right, so this name must end with, okay, so we'll just make sure you add bot at the end. And here, done, congratulations, your bot, you will find it here. If I go here, I should see my bot, click start, but nothing works, of course, because we haven't set up the server like where it can work. And here you will see we got the access token. Just leave it. All right, I will go back to my n8n and I will create the first step. And in our case, it is going to be a Telegram, and it will be a trigger on messages, and which means this node will be executed whenever something like an event happen on the Telegram account. And in the credentials, click create new credentials, and here you will paste your access token. Just copy and paste it, click save. Now whenever an event triggered in the bot, we will receive it here. So let me execute the workflow. If I go here to my bots and I click hi, and here we should see that the workflow executed. Next, if we go to the Telegram trigger, you will see that this trigger has some sort of output. I will go to schema, which is more readable, and here you will see some information. We got from, chat, and here we got text, and you will see that this text hi is the same as the messages that I've sent. We will use it, very important. And here on the from, you will see is bot, false. Of course, I'm not a bot. And here is my first name and last name of my Telegram account. This is my username, and here we got the chat ID, which is related to the entire chat. All right, what I want to do is I want to switch between text, document, voice. Okay, so here there is text. However, if I go ahead and I send a voice test, we should not see the text here, but instead we should see the voice. And if I upload the document as well, if I upload a document here, because we will use the document as well for retrieval, and if I click execute workflow, you will see that instead of the voice, we got document. So we want to switch between the three routes. To do that, I will click at new node and search for switch. And here you should see route item depending on different expression roles. And here we can define our own routing role. The first one is document. I will drag and drop document. But since this one is an object, I'll click here and go to an object and click exist, because we just want to check if it exists. Let's call the output as document. All right, I will add another one, but this time instead of document, I will add text. Let me show you so that you won't get confused. If I click hi instead, execute workflow, and they should go ahead, and you should see that this one is red because it does not exist. But here we got text, so I'll just drag and drop this one. Okay, and it's string, so I'll just make sure, go ahead and click on string and click exist, and they can rename the output as text. Okay, next I will send a voice. Okay, and let me execute it, and here I will add another route, and I will scroll and I will see the voice here, and of course it's an object as well because it has content inside. Just click exist and click rename output, so just we rename it as voice, and here it will be route between 3 different options, either document, text, voice. If I click execute workflow, let's send text, and here you will see the green in the text route. If I send voice, and sorry, let me repeat this again, we should see the route to the voice. Now if we send the voice, what we want to do is we want to get that voice, okay, and then we give it to a module to transcribe whatever is in the voice. So we'll click on plus, search for Telegram. Telegram has already built an action called get file, so this will get the file as a binary that we can then use to give to any model to transcribe. However, you will need the file ID. If I go to the voice, you will see I have this file ID, so we can just drag and drop it here. Let's execute step. We should see the file as data and it is binary. Now we can just go ahead and go to Gemini, for example, and click transcribe a recording. And all you need is to choose the model you want. Choose Flash. And here you can either choose from a URL or a binary. In that case, we already have a binary. We'll just select the binary and just make sure this input data field is the same as this one here. Otherwise, it won't work. So let me click execute step. Since the voice has nothing, it didn't say anything, we should see silence, whatever. Next, we are going to connect our text to an AI agent. So we'll just click here, add node, search for AI agent, and here we'll click define below. Now we will need a prompt. Let me just say hi, back to canvas, and I will need a chat model. You can choose Anthropic, Google Gemini, Grok, Llama, Open Browser, etc. I'm just going with Gemini. Okay, I can just leave it at that. Okay, so if I execute this, okay, all right. So what I need is I need this prompt to be connected to my text that I have sent it on Telegram. So I got 2 options. Either we get the text from the switch node, otherwise we get it from here. So I can just connect it like this and connect it as well, like that's it. But I still need to fill out this form prompt, so we can just execute this. Okay, let me just say hi. Okay, let me execute this. Let me send hi, right? You will see I got the answer hey there, but this is from this prompt. I need to remove it, and instead I have to add the prompt from transcribe recording or the Telegram trigger. So if we got text from Telegram, we'll drag and drop it. Okay, otherwise if we send, for example, a voice, this is test, you will see that we might get an error. Yes, because we need to specify the prompt, because this one does not exist, because obviously we sent the voice. So we can just click enter, and I will go to transcribe recording, and here I will find the text. I will drag and drop it. So we got 2 options, either this or this. Okay, click execute step. I should get the output. How can I assist you? Okay, next I just want to send it to Telegram. Like I want to send the messages back. Search for Telegram and search for send text messages. Okay, I will need the chat ID and the text. The chat ID can be found on Telegram trigger. Go to chat, and here we have an ID here. Just drag and drop it. Perfect. I will need a text. What we have to send, just go to AI agent, and you will find the output of AI agent. And let me execute this. And if I go back, I should see, okay, I see how I can assist you. Okay, I want to remove this. Okay, if you want, just click add field, go to append n8n attribution, and just disable it. If we execute it again, we should see, okay, how I can assist you. Next, we will add memory to our AI agent. Let's click add memory, and here I'll click sample memory, and I will just, on the chat session ID, just click define below, and I will need the key. In our case, the key will be the chat ID. Just drag and drop the chat ID. This will try to differentiate between conversations. All right, perfect. Next, we will add documents. So if I send a document, okay, if I send a document, you will see the document here. So what we want to do, execute it, and here we got document, and you will see we got the file ID. So we'll do the same as voice. I'll just copy paste this one, and I will connect it, and here I will call it get document. But instead of the file ID is not here, it will be from document and then file ID. Drag and drop it. Execute step, and here we got the file been downloaded. I just need to extract the content. So search for extract, and here you will select extract from file. This will extract from binary, and you can choose which type of file you want. In our case, it's PDF. Just search for PDF and make sure the input binary field is the same as the orange headed here. Okay, so let me execute this one, and here I should see all the content related to my document. Okay, so this is the content text. This is the entire content of the document, every page, and here's some metadata regarding the document. Now we will implement RAG, retrieval augmented generation. So just to clarify and to understand how does it work, in a normal chatbot, you ask the large language model a question, and you give it to the AI module, and then it gives you an answer. However, the AI model limited for the training data has been cut off. Plus, the model hasn't trained on your data, okay? Probably just on the internet, and most of all, your data is not on the internet, it is for personal use. Okay, so what you want to do is RAG give access to large language model and access to your data. So instead of user prompt, and it includes all the data or all the content of your document, which going to be, first of all, impossible because large language model have limited context windows. Second of all, it's very expensive even if it's possible. Okay, let's say your document is 100 pages. You cannot take all the content of 100 pages and give it to ChatGPT, let's say, with just one question. Every time you want to an answer, you have to give it the content every time, which is very expensive and time consuming. What we do instead is retrieve augmented generation, where we talk all the documents that we have, we read them like we got all the contents that we want to store, we transform them into chunks. Chunks here means paragraph or parts, okay? And then we take each paragraph or each chunk, we transform it into vector numbers. Basically, vector is just an array with a bunch of numbers inside. And those numbers represent the content, like the chunk, uh, the text. And we do this for all the chunks that we have until we have a vector database, and then we just store them in database or memory, whatever. Then what we do is whenever you ask question, we use a method called retrieval. The approach is like this. Retrieval is another model that, just like Google, when you try to prompt, like try to send it a query to search for, like you want to search for the best football in 2025, what's happening is it retrieves all the content that are related to football in 2025, and that method is called retrieval. It is another model just like a large language model, but it's more complicated than that. You just try to retrieve the best chunk that is related to your query. So it goes to vector database and it search for the chunks that are related to your query. Okay, so let's say your prompt is related to this one and this one and this one. So we got 3 chunks. These 3 chunks are being transformed into chunks like a real text. We take that text and then we include it with the prompt that you are sending to your large language model. So instead of just giving it a raw prompt, you take the prompt, you retrieve the content that related to your prompt, okay? So let's say we got this one and this one. This one, 3 chunks. We add them with the prompt and then we give it to a large language model and it will give us answer. This way, large language model has a context of what we are talking about. So if you're asking a question, you give it a bunch of CVs and you tell them, give me the person that only related to machine learning. What we do is we go store all CVs that we have, okay? And then we get, using the retrieval method, only the document or chunks that are related to machine learning. And once we got them, we add them with a prompt, which gives the context to a large language model. Let's go and apply this in action. So we can apply this like we can hard code this here. Try to read the document, and then if I go here, you will see I got the content, and then I will try to split it in chunks, etc. n8n has already implemented this for us. All I need to do, add a new node, search for vector database, select simple vector store. In here, you will see all the actions. Add document and get ranked document. This get ranked document is what we call the retrieval, okay? We don't need this now. We just want to store the document just like here. All I need is just take my document, transform them into a bunch of chunks, and then store the vectors. So I will just click add document to vector store. And here you will need a key, sort of the key that is related to your database. So like, let's create a new one. Let's call it CVs or resume, right? Create a new one. So this will store, every time I upload a document, it will be stored on the resume. And here you can specify the embedding batch size, okay? However, this, what it does is it takes everything that, like all the content that is being passed, okay? In our case, it will be everything that this one outputs, but I don't want to store everything. For example, I don't want to store all this metadata. I'm only interested in this content. So what I want to do is I want to create a new variable where we ignore all the metadata and we keep the content only. Search for edit field, click on this one, and let's call it set content, and let's call this content, just call it whatever, and then I will just drag and drop the text, okay? And this way we just ignore everything except the content, just like here. Got only the content and we forgot about everything else, okay? And here we go. All we need is two stuff. We need the embedding, which uses to transform this into numbers, and then document loader, which loads the document how you want it to split. So let's add embedding, and here you can add any embedding. Let's use Google Gemini, and here you can select the embedding model. Just gonna keep it as this one, right? So let me just add this one at the top, and then we need this document loader, which just try to set or configure how you want to load the data. In our case, we'll just load all input data, and then text splitting. You can either simple, which split every 1,000 characters, which basically say, give me only 1,000 characters, and then it will transform them into chunks. Just like each chunk, it will be 1,000 character. That's basically what we want. If you want a custom, like you want your own custom, you can just add a custom, and here you will need a text splitter. Then you can specify text. Let me select this one, and here you can specify separator, like how do you want it to separate. Let's say break line, and here the chunk size, if you want to define your own chunk size. Like if you got simple document, very small, I recommend to like drop the chunk size to 200, for example, and this is the chunk overlap. I'll just go with I'll go with default loader, and I will just keep it as it is, right? Now this will store everything for us. If I execute it, and here we go, everything is stored, and here we should see the content. If I go to schema, you will see this is the first item, okay? Let me just search for it. So this is the first item here, second item, third item, chunk, the fourth chunk, etc. And this already stored in a numbers for us. Now that we have stored the document into a vector database, now we need to implement a retrieval approach. So I'll go to AI agent, go to tool and search for vector and select simple vector store. And here you will see a bunch of operation. Previously we have added insert document. Now we need to retrieve. So we got two options, either retrieve document as a vector store for chain tool, retrieve document as a tool for AI agent. So the difference is this one, the as a vector store for chain or tool, will be executed regardless of the user question. But this one will be as a tool for AI agent. And we all know that when we say a tool for AI agent, means it will be executed only when necessary, when the user asks for it, or when needed in general. That's the part of AI agent. But if we select this one, it will be just as a vector store directly with AI nodes. So it will be just implemented there. So every time I ask a question, it will try to retrieve documents. But I might not ask questions that are related to my document. Sometimes I don't want to retrieve any document. I just want a question to my question to be answered. Very simple. So we can just select as a tool for agent, and here we can specify the description. This will help the model prompt better. So we can just say retrieve from the documents when needed, and the memory key, make sure it is the same as the one that we have here. Okay, and we will need an embedding. The reason why we need an embedding is because you got a query, the user prompt, we need to transform it into a vector, okay, so that we can compare it with existing vectors. Okay, we don't want to compare text with text because it's impossible. We machine only understand numbers, so we need to compare numbers with numbers. Okay, that's it. Let me just change the name here, call it retrieval. Yeah, that's it. And here the limit, which means how many chunks or how many docs you want from us to retrieve. So for example, we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In the total, we got 6. When I say limit is 4, which means I will get only the top, the most similar 4 exist. So for example, this one and this one is similar, this one's similar, and this one is similar. We will get the first 4. That's what the limit here means. Now I will go to the AI agent and I will add the system instructions. This will control the behavior of the model. Click system messages, and I will just change it with this one that I've created. So go to expressions and I will just click here so that I can see it. So I say you are a manager agent. Your job is to help the user of his task retrieve from docs, email, or calendar SP request. Don't assume anything. Call the agent that are specialized in user request. Your output has to be clean, no markdown at all. Today is this one. This is a JavaScript that let the model knows, hey, today is this. So we will see the output here. 2025, November 05, and this is the time as well. So this is a great way to give access to the model the date of today. And this is just to let the model that, hey, if user asks for emails, there is an agent for that, Google Calendar and retrieval as well. The reason why we have emails and Google Calendar is because we will use them, okay? We have to implement them later. So no worries, now we don't have them, okay? If I go to retrieval and I click this one, you will see that I need a query. So let's say name or just certification and click easy step. And here, if I go to the retrieval, you will see a content here that is related to the certification. So if I go to the document that I've uploaded, which is my CV, and I go to the certification, we have applied AI lab called soft CS50, etc. If I go to the retrieve method or approach, you will see that I have this medium, I don't know, machine learning called soft, which basically means this certification, and it is at the top, which means the highest score chunk that is related to my query is this one. Then we have this one, then the third one, and the fourth one. We got 4 items, and all of them related to certification, right? So now we can just test it, list all the certification that the person has, and we just wait for it. Here is transcribing my audio. Now it's going forward to the AI agent and executing the retrieval, right? And now we have the person has the following certification. Let me just compare the two. So this is the document. So we have first applied AI lab, called soft machine learning intern, and CS50 introduction. Yes. Sorry. And here we have neural network, PyTorch for deep learning. I just want to connect this one to send the messages. which means every time I upload the document, I want to get messages back saying, hey, your document uploaded with success. So I'll create, so since this one will just output the content of the document that has been added to Vector database, I will have to create the messages by myself. So we'll search for edit field, and here I will add, I'll call it output, and I will say your document added to database with success. Call it set message, and I will need to add it here. Let me call it output instead. Yeah, it's already output. So the reason why it's because we can either get JSON output, and this JSON output in our case from an AI agent, but in case we upload the document, the output will be here. So we got the same variable. Let's add the Gmail agent. So go to the tool, and here you can search and add a sub agent. So just search for AI agent tool. So the AI agent will be a tool for the manager agent. All right. Go to system messages, and I will add some instructions, and just click expressions, and I'll paste that in here. It said you are a Gmail agent. Your job is to reply, send or read emails as per request. If the user asks for reply, make sure you get the email, then use the messages ID to reply. You can call more than one if necessary. And you can if you call get many emails, make sure you include their IDs and emails. Make sure the email is clean and has no these symbols at it. And today, the reason why is because we want to instruct the model how to act. For example, to reply, normally you need an ID. Okay, so probably you're doing it normally on your Gmail phone, like in your phone. However, what's actually happening behind the scene is that when you reply, you're replying to that specific ID, just like a conversation. So we need the ID. That's why I instruct the model that you need to get all the emails first that are related to your query, and then get their messages so that you know which one to reply to. Then, if you call get many Gmail, make sure you include your IDs. Okay, so we have access to the ID of each um, conversation. And also here you can call more than one if necessary. So the reason why is because we will have a get many email as well as reply. So you cannot just directly reply. Instead, you need to get the email and then reply. So we can two tools will be executed at the same time. So let me just add the chat model. Click Gemini, and you can just leave it as it is, and we'll add the memory, simple memory, and I will call the memory Gmail. Back to canvas, and I will add the tool. So I can just search for Gmail tool, and here you can access a bunch of operations you can send. Let's add send. For the two, I will let the AI handle it. Subject, also let the AI handle it. Email type, I can leave it as HTML if you want to render the content. So this is the first action, which send the messages. Let's add another one, but this time I will call this, let's say, reply. And here you will see that in order for to reply, I will need the messages ID, like who are we going to reply to. So I'll just let the AI handle it. However, in order for the AI to handle it, it needs to teach it how to do it. That's why I add these instructions here. All right, let me connect the tool here. Just click like this, and let's add another one. Let's say get email this time. So we can just get many. This will help us to get as many emails as we want. For return all, make sure you disable it so that we return just the number that the user requested. So in the limit, I will let the model handle it because it will be from the query. If I said give me 5 emails, I want 5 emails back. And we can just leave everything else as it is. Let's connect it. Okay. And let me just call this Gmail agent. And here in the prompt, I will let the model handle it because the manager will instruct it and tell it, hey, get this email, do this, etc. And in the description, I can say an AI agent that can handle the Gmail tools. All right, so let's go ahead, get the latest 2 emails. Let's run this. And here you should see it is calling Gmail agent and get many messages as well. All right, we got an issue. So let me go back here. All right, so you might get an issue here which relates to how you want the messages to be sent. So the issue is that we got this email, right? But for us to send it on Telegram, Telegram uses a reply markup or parse mode as well. So if you set HTML, it will use HTML mode. If we go to manager agent, you will see this is what it should be sent. So I got all bunch of emails that I have. So the issue is this tiny symbols. Okay, so it's supposed to be, since this is not an HTML, let me show you. So this tiny symbols is an HTML tag, but since this is an email, it couldn't find it, so it's an issue. Just change this to markdown, click execute step, and okay, we might get an issue here as well. I will, you know what, I will leave this, just remove it, and let me remove this one as well. Let's disable this. So let's execute it, and here I got the answer. This is the first email, second email. So I just removed the parse mode, no HTML, no markdown. It will be just raw text. And here I got the last 2 emails. All right, I got last email here. Say hi, how are you? And let me just ask it. Reply to the last messages and say I am fine. Click execute step. All right, we just wait for it. And here, as you can see, it does get the emails, and now where is replying. Now if I go to the email, let me just refresh. All right, I should see that I have respond. I am fine. Let's add Google Calendar agents. Add a new agent, and I will add chat model. Next, I will add the memory, and I will call it calendar. Let's call this calendar man. Right. Next, tools. So we got many tools here. Let me show you. If I go to Google, and here we have Google Calendar, and we got event, like if we want to create a specific event. Okay, I will leave it, and here you will need to choose the calendar. Just go to your calendar, and here you can create a new calendar, or you can use an existing ones. Let's create a new one. Let's call it YouTube n8n. And here make sure to choose the time zone, create calendar. And if I go here and search for YouTube Ultimate Agent, should appear here. Now you will need a start time and the end time of the event. I will just let the model handle it. And I will add the summary and the description as well. Search for description. This will just make sure you add that title and the description of the event. So this is the first event here. Another action or another tool is going to be, say, get, let's say get many, to get many as you can. And for return all, just make sure it is disabled, and handle limit, I will let the model handle it, because we might need to get X event after. Let the model handle it, and here let the model handle it as well. It's the same here. Right, let me just connect it, and let me add another one, connect it as well, and this time we will delete it. Click delete, and you will need an event ID. I will make sure the AI handle it. Now get availability, and here in the event, select calendar and select availability, and I will select this one, and I will let the model handle it. This will just check the availability if I'm available, for example. Before we go here and test it out, let's add a date, otherwise it will add the event in 2023 or somehow. So just go to calendar agent and remember that we said the prompt will be defined by the model. Just click this button and here you will see the expression behind it. So this is actually what happened. Just click enter and add today is two curly brackets and add now. So this just give you access to the now or the date. So let me execute this and let's say add dinner at 9 p.m. tomorrow. All right, let's go ahead. Tomorrow is 7 November. It's actually 6. Let me refresh this. Not sure why it keeps saying 5, but it's actually 6 November. So tomorrow is 7. So this is the event, right? Dinner, 8 p.m. And here I've added dinner for your calendar for tomorrow. Now I will add another things, which is system messages. Just click on expressions so we can see the full. I'll just paste that in here. And here I said you are a calendar agent. Your job is to check availability, create or delete events per request. You can call more than one if necessary, and you will output the output of the tools, which means whenever you execute a tool, the tool will return some output. We want the output to be in the messages in Telegram so we can access them directly. You will not summarize it, which means you will not remove what you want and keep, or you will keep everything. And if you call get main event, make sure you output the ID because each event has an ID. So if we call get many event, I will need limit after before. It's already executed here. And if I go here, I should see some information here. So this is one event, and each event has a start, okay, and creators, which mean who created it, the organizer, description, and most importantly, the ID. This one will be used to update the event and also to delete it. So if we want to delete a specific event, you cannot just say, hey, delete meeting with Michael. It's very hard to do that because it needs only the event ID. Okay. So to overcome this, what we need is we need to execute this get mini event first. So we get all the information regarding the event. So let's say remove the meeting of tomorrow. So it will just go to tomorrow and get all the events, just like here. And then we'll search for the event we want. Remove meeting with Michael. I have a summary here called meeting with Michael, which means it is related to this ID. So we can just then use this ID to delete it. This is very important. Okay, so this is why I added here you can call more than one if necessary, and you will output the output of the tool. So which means we want to see the output. Last things I want to mention is if you send a text, right, so it will go to this route. So sometimes it will work, but sometimes you might get an error. And the reason why is because we put two variables here. So instead of that, I will just cut them and I will add a new node. This node will store the variables for us instead of doing it in the manager agent. So search for edit field. If you're not getting the error, don't worry about it. You can just you can skip, but if you do, you need to do this. So just call it prompt and just paste the same variables here, right? And we just need to connect this to here as well. So instead of the manager agent getting the text from here or here, it will be just from here directly. And here we need to change this to this one here. And to do that, I will just send a message. Okay, let me execute this. And I will just come over here and I will drag and drop the prompt. It's prompts, sorry. Let me change it here. And let's change name, set prompts. Alright, and that's it. We have finished the ultimate RAG agent. You can add more tools if you want. You can create another agent depending on your use cases like Notion, Slack, WhatsApp as well, Google Sheet, etc. You can add as many agents as you want. Just make sure you apply the same principles. Make sure you add a system messages that instructs the model to know about the tools that you have, right? And make sure you add it here as well so it knows. The more context you give, the better and the accurate it gets. Alright, that's it. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. The workflows we have created will be available in the description below. See you in another video.